Ketter III set me on fire and found humor in it.
It is overwhelming to me, Mr. Ketter, the level of evil that you carried out on both of these women.
This is the story of Sky Lemmons-Dixon, aged 23, a beautiful young lady who was shot in the head on Christmas morning on State Street in Albany, New York by a 36-year-old man named Michael Varlack. Sky was supposed to testify against her ex-boyfriend who had tried to kill her by setting her ablaze and breaking her arm. She had expressed fear for her safety as her abusive ex-boyfriend was on trial. Unfortunately, she was murdered in cold blood on Christmas Day few days before she was set to testify. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories. This case will be taking us to Albany, New York. Albany, the capital of New York State, is rich with historic sites, natural beauty, and locally produced food and drinks. With a crime rate of 46 per 1,000 residents, Albany has one of the highest crime rates in America compared to all communities of all sizes. Sky Alexander Lemmons-Dixon was born on April 23, 2000 in Las Vegas, Nevada, where she was adopted by Cheryl Lemmons, a psychiatrist and neurologist working at the various hospitals in Las Vegas. At the age of 3, Sky moved with her older sister and her mother to Los Angeles, California. Sky attended Lycée International de Los Angeles Elementary School, where she was known for her energetic personality and her love of adventure. At 10 years old, Sky and the family moved to Onset, Massachusetts, where they lived with her beloved grandmother. On August 6, 2011, Sky lost her mother to breast cancer and moved to New York to join her aunt, uncle, and cousins. Sky attended school in New York and finished high school at the Charlton School in Burnt Hills, New York. Sky developed a particular love of horses and worked at a rescue facility for animals that had been abused. Sky was fragile and vulnerable. During her troubling times, she met a young man named Houston Ketter, aged 41. They dated for 4 months, but it was hell on earth for her during this period with Houston. She was abused emotionally and physically by Houston during this time, including breaking her arm and trying to set her on fire. Houston poured lighter fluid on Sky's head, drenching her face, then proceeded to throw a lit blunt on her. However, the blunt went out before it hit her. He grabbed 2 lighters and clicked them together in another attempt to set her on fire. On another occasion, he heated up a pot for about an hour. He placed the pot on Sky's arm, in between her legs, on her side, on her thigh, and on her buttocks. Once the pot was no longer hot, he used the same pot to break her arm. She was able to finally get a restraining order on him. Houston was arrested and charged for his crime. Houston was also accused of dousing a 38-year-old woman in charcoal lighter fluid and set her on fire near Bradford and Robin Streets in Albany in November 2022. The woman suffered second and third-degree burns to 26% of her body but survived. She later testified that Houston was upset because she owed him money for drugs. Sky and the woman were supposed to testify against him in the case. She told the Albany County DA's office that she feared for her life because of her cooperation in the case. At a point, Sky was a teacher and things were going well for her, but she turned towards the bad side of life. She was dancing for a living and also had an OnlyFans page. Few days before her testimony, someone walked up to her and shot her in the head. She was quickly transported to Albany Medical Center. She spent over a week at Albany Medical Center Hospital before finally succumbing to her injuries on Tuesday, January 2nd.
Close friends of the 23-year-old woman killed in a Christmas homicide tell 13 investigates that she had a lot left to accomplish.
New at 4 now, Tessa Bentulin found out. We featured this victim in our Top Teacher segment 5 years ago. Tessa's here now with the latest 13 Investigates report. Tessa.
Hi, Mark and Sabrina. This is Sky Lemmons-Dixon in high school, ready to learn and loved what school had to offer for her. Some of her friends spoke to me today and say Lemmons-Dixon deserved better than a terrible death.
In 2018, Sky Lemmons-Dixon shared these powerful words with us while she was a student at the Charlton School in Burnt Hills, a school for troubled teenage girls.
It's never a wrong thing to say what you believe in, and that's always the thing that I will carry on after leaving here.
The story was for a new Channel 13 Top Teacher segment. Lemmons-Dixon speaking about what she learned from her social studies teacher, Miss Tracy Allen, about female empowerment and using your voice. Sitting right next to Lemmons-Dixon in that class was one of her best friends, Ariella Mendez.
She had the biggest heart, and it didn't matter like what was going on in her life at the time. She always made sure to make her friends know how much she cared about them and loved them. She texted me a few times to tell me about him. And every time she would like talk about him, it was just worse than the last thing. She was just scared of him, like so scared. He would like come in the apartment and she'd be on the phone and she would just hide it or throw her phone across the room so he didn't know.
Mendez says she did not find out about the Christmas shooting or Lemmons-Dixon's death until Wednesday, but she says she will remember her friend from better times.
Literally the most beautiful person, like inside and out. And she just had so much life left to live and so many things to accomplish.
The Charlton School did send us a statement that says in part, quote, she was a leader on campus among her peers. Her family was actively involved in our campus life throughout her time with us and had a wonderful time celebrating her accomplishments at graduation in 2019. Our thoughts are with Sky's family during this difficult time.
Police finally arrested a man named Michael Varlack for the shooting of Sky.
First, and all new here at 5, an arrest made in a shocking Christmas morning homicide in Albany.
23-year-old Sky Lemmons-Dixon was shot in the head, dying just days later, and now Michael Varlack of Albany pleading not guilty to murder and gun charges today. Prosecutors say he used an illegal gun. Varlack will remain in custody until his next court date in February.
The case gaining a lot of interest because Sky Lemmons-Dixon was a witness and a victim in a gruesome crime. Court filings show she was in an abusive relationship with the man who is now serving time for torturing her and another woman, lighting that other woman on fire and attempting to do the same to Lemmons-Dixon.
Even though Sky was not able to testify in the case against Houston, the other victim did. Houston was sentenced in December to 50 years to life for torturing and assaulting the two women 6 days after Sky was shot.
A man who set a woman on fire to try to kill her and attacked another person got the maximum sentence in Albany County Court today.
Houston Ketter III will go to prison for 50 years to life.
Houston Ketter III set me on fire and found humor in it.
It is overwhelming to me, Mr. Ketter, the level of evil that you carried out on both of these women.
Houston Ketter was sentenced last month on 2 attempted murder convictions. 13 investigators learning the woman shot on Christmas did not show up to Ketter's trial to testify. Tessa Bentulin is here now with the story. Tessa, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mark and Sabrina. I spent part of my day going down to the Albany County Courthouse, reading through Houston Ketter's case file, and I found this. It details testimony from Sky Lemmons-Dixon, the woman who was shot and killed. It says she feared for her life. There were people she believed who would hurt her if she testified. And on Christmas, Albany police responded to a home on State Street where they found her shot in the head. Lemmons-Dixon died a few days later at Albany Medical Center. She was 23 years old. Right now, police say they do not have an update for me in their investigation, but we do know Lemmons-Dixon was abused by her former boyfriend, Houston Ketter, this man here in the yellow jumpsuit. Ketter was just sentenced last month to 50 years to life for torturing and assaulting 2 women, Lemmons-Dixon and Carrie Rouse. Lemmons-Dixon did not show up to testify at Ketter's trial. These documents I read say Lemmons-Dixon feared she would be harmed if she were to testify. As for the other victim, Carrie Rouse, who Ketter severely injured by setting her on fire, she did speak at his sentencing.
I have no hair on the back of my head. I have third-degree burns on 30% of my body. I cannot realistically tell you how many surgeries, blood transfusions, days and nights of horror I've overcome. I woke up, hands and legs tied down to a surface, intubated almost 2 months later.
Michael Varlack pleaded not guilty to charges of second-degree murder and criminal possession of a weapon. He's accused of shooting Sky Dixon in her home on State Street on Christmas Day. His case is still in court. Police have not named Houston as a person of interest in her death, but he was recorded in a jail phone call asking someone to Google what happens if a witness or a victim does not appear at trial. Plus he called Sky telling her to stay low.
While her killer has not yet been identified, these court documents are painting a clearer picture of what may have happened to her and why. Shocking new details revealing the horrifying events leading up to the deadly Christmas Day shooting of Sky Lemmons-Dixon. According to court filings, the 23-year-old was in an abusive relationship with 41-year-old Houston Ketter III, claiming he tortured her over their 4-month relationship, including burning her with a pot, breaking her arm, trying to set her on fire, and asking her how she wanted to die. He was also convicted of setting a different woman on fire. Documents show Lemmons-Dixon told prosecutors she feared for her life regarding testifying against Ketter. Her protective order expired in October of 2023, 2 weeks before Ketter's trial. Lemmons-Dixon vanished around that time. A judge ruling Ketter had something to do with her disappearance before trial, allowing Lemmons-Dixon's grand jury testimony to be shared instead. And just 6 days after Ketter was sentenced to 50 years to life for attempted murder and felony assault, Lemmons-Dixon was found shot in the head in Albany on Christmas Day. She died at the hospital on New Year's Day.
When someone leaves abuse, that can be one of the riskiest times in the relationship because that's when the abuser may have to escalate their actions in order to keep that control.
Albany police have not named Ketter or his associates as persons of interest in the shooting at this time. However, court documents show while in jail on a recorded phone call, Ketter asked someone to Google what happens if a witness or a victim does not appear at trial. Maggie hopes speaking out about services offered at Wellspring will encourage more people to seek help if needed to prevent what happened to Lemmons-Dixon from happening to anyone else.
Though she had a turbulent last few years as a victim of domestic violence and drug abuse, Sky was full of potential and working hard to rebuild her future according to her family. Sky will be remembered for her beautiful spirit, her great sense of humor and her ability to make everyone around her laugh. She was delightful, playful, and kind. Sky was a fantastic cook and drew people in with her hospitality and helpfulness. She was dearly loved by her family and will be missed. Our sincere condolences to the friends and families of Sky Lemmons-Dixon. May Sky's memory be a blessing for her family and for all who knew her, and may her life and death be an inspiration and a turning point towards justice and increased protection for domestic abuse survivors. Please stay safe out there and see you guys in the next video.